you look.
Yeah, parasol.
Might be worth getting one of them as well.
Hello.
Hello. Coming in. Yeah,
Yes.
brilliant. That's great. Lovely. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
visit.
It was fashionable, yes.
Everyone wanted, you know, Taxidermy.
Yes, yeah. I mean, to be fair, we put a lot of it down to the 10th baronet, the last baronet, so on. But really, truly, his father started doing it, so he picked it up. Yeah. And also, they found receipts back to the 7th baronet, who was alive at the end of the 17th, beginning of 18th. Wow. So,
Not necessarily, he was Victorian.
I mean, he was the
Yes.
biggest collector of it.
But it was something they'd like to do
already
anyway.
started doing it.
And
They were obviously interested in it,
The
yeah.
lady was saying that you had a beautiful collection of butterflies, but they cannot
That's
show
right.
very
Yeah.
Delicate,
delicate.
lovely light,
He was collecting
sensitive.
butterflies.
One year, a few years ago now, they did have somebody inside. Even the football scene.
Yes, makes a difference, doesn't it? Because when it's
They weren't
delicate,
they weren't
Do you know who actually, the person who himself was he a royal son?
No. The family name was Harper, and the first one was in law in London. And that's where the acting his name.
there was a Tudor house here first.
He said, I think the lady said, that was not fair for him.
Women to lose their power in those days when they married, yeah. Well, have a little look out round the gardens and then we'll come. Can we ask back here for a lift?
Yes, of
Today,
course.
lovely. We'll come back in.
Yeah.
Give us a shout.
Thank
We'll
you.
be done for you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So that makes it look quite different. I suppose they want people with more room to get around and see where the coach goes. Yes.
What's your favourite
The bird lobby,
Oh, okay.
which is really good.
This is the services one, what did we try?
The bird lobby.
With the taxidermy.
Yes.
You see, that's the second time today, so I can't
We've been to Kennelston Hall as
Oh,
well.
have you?
Yeah.
We've had a busy day.
Well, we tried the last one. That's the last one. Yeah.
It's a view.
Have you been to Ireland before?
We come here, we have been, because we do like Cork.
Yes.
I think
I like the
prefer it to-
grounds and everything.
Yeah, I think there's just something about this house I quite like.
I just
Yeah.
like it because it's not over restored or anything, is it?
Yeah.
It's quite- There's lots of.
It's very honest, really. It's not like
Yeah. I had to do a lot of work on it, with
Yeah.
having a flat roof or something.
So there's been lots of preservation just to keep it like this.
Yes.
Declining.
Yes.
So,
Because when you get to the top floor, I like to do it there. I often think they must have done the roof and it would always be pristine.
Yeah, God.
And then they got to rough it all up to make it look as though they haven't done it.
oh yeah.
Of
I like that.
Yes.
That's you all over.
That's, yeah. Nothing wrong with a bit of taxidermy.
Oh,
In the right set.
yeah. There's a lovely lovely thing in this house that you don't really, I'm not really taking any notice of this chapel before. It's
Good looking too,
beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, it's lovely.
And probably the light's not been on it before, maybe
Yeah.
just catching it there. But it's beautiful.
It is, yeah. It's got a red colour, isn't it? Like rosewood or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which of course you can't try to do.
Cannons and pianos. The horses.
That's how they managed to survive the 20th century.
Okay, I was going to ask what era I was looking at.
Yeah, well, it was when last baronet died in 1924, and she inherited. She was the eldest daughter.
Okay.
He did have a son, but his son died before him, the last baronet, and so it was the eldest daughter who inherited.
Okay.
And she's the one who had lots of assets, lots of buildings, and a big house, big, but no money to pay for it all. So.
When did this become part of National Trust?
1985. Yes, what happened was, you probably read on the board downstairs that they owed 8 million to the taxman, which is quite a large sum of money. And so, as we've lost hundreds of houses like this, because for the same reason people couldn't afford them, the government heard about Calke Abbey, because Henry was the last of the family to own it, so he advertised it on the market for sales. But that's how
Very deep, thin glass ones. So it can stick on the table, please.
Crocodile, you say?
Crocodile, yes. You can tell because in a crocodile, as opposed to an alligator, when the two jaws are shut, the fourth tooth from the front in the lower jaw fits into that niche.
Sort of points upwards.
Points upwards. And
Yeah.
is on the outside.
Do you have a favourite piece here? Or a favourite, I don't want to say resident for the birds, or...
Not particularly. I like the whole of Paul. I mean, when you get to the state bed, obviously the state bed is something very special. But, you know, I just like it all. That's why I've been coming such a long time.
It's my first time here. This is this
wow.
room is I love this room. So far, my favourite room so far, this one.
Oh, right. Well, it's certainly an interesting room.
This is went to Kedleston earlier today.
Oh, right.
And of course, they got their taxidermy down the little corridor.
Yes, just in the curve, yes, the bottom corridor. Kedleston is very grand, very cold, and I don't just mean temperature-wise. I find it was never built to be lived in.
It's
It's a show place.
It's very impressive,
Very
but
impressive.
you can't. I come from Staffordshire, so Sugar is my closest.
Yes.
And you still get a feeling with lots of bits of Sugar that you could see people entertain,
Yes.
living in that place,
Yeah,
residing,
when you can.
relaxing.
Yes.
So yeah.
I find Shepard slightly disappointing because I never can get round the whole house. I never get up to Patrick Litchfield's because it's always closed. And since they've done whatever they've done with the farm, I find it
I went
you know.
to primary school in the village next door
Oh,
to it, in Great Hayward. So
yes.
Sugar, we used to know Patrick Litchfield. We used to go
Yeah.
over and see him when he was still there back in the 80s. And so it's my old stomping grounds a bit. That one.
Yes, yes. Oh, the wall garden is fantastic, yes. But
I think it was going into a bit ruin, so I was very happy when National Trust took it on and sort of brought it back a bit.
because I mean, Staffordshire County Council, yes, because all of it. I was on the regional board of the National Trust when all that happened, yes, so it was all a bit unfortunate, but there we are.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, that's
and
right.
I'll look out for the grand room.
Yeah, it isn't a grand room,
Oh.
but it's because we've had to reconstruct, but it's a very grand bed. Very grand.
Where's all give it out? Thank you.
smile.
I'll have to look on TripAdvisor and see if you can.
Hello.
Hello.
You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just telling Sue about chatting with that woman. She was one of the she wouldn't have done anything. Carried on. Yeah, sure. That's all the other shot. Hey, sure.
Did the family have a fascination with horses?
Yeah, they had.
I'm just guessing from the
They had
pure amount of horses.
a race team, and that was what they would have worn. It was sort of their colours.
Oh, they're silks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can tell you 4 of the horses on the walls. Give me a second, because I need to remember which way 2 of them go. I think it's Fury Band, so it's like F-U-R-I band. I don't know if I say it
That's
right.
all there, yep.
The far like one right there, and then that one is either, I believe it's Jason. That one's a nice easy name. And then I think you got not that middle one. This one here is Juniper. And then the one on the end here is Pilot. I know Juniper and Pilot were like some of their best horses. From looking back at some of the race records, they won a lot of gold trophies and things.
Amazing.
And in one of the rooms on, it's quite foreign actually, but it actually has some of the race trophies in that they would have won.
So big into like the racehorse breeding back in the day.
Yeah, they did get really into it.
I was just coming through and I saw obviously the million pictures of horses.
Yes.
So there's always trig in there somewhere. Thank you.
taxidermy for this family as well as showing them learning off the how to do it themselves.
Yes.
So they did a lot themselves. He did a lot. But they were one of the richest families in the country at one point, so they could afford to have the best of the best.
Yeah, of course.
And you can see in the taxidermy that it's so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, whether you like it or hate it, you can't say it's not well done.
Yes, of course.
It survived, doesn't it?
Because a lot of children do say, when do you let them out?
Oh, no.
Oh,
They've got to stay still till 4:30.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. What a fantastic
Yeah.
imagination. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So I was just thinking the same thing. The boyhood bedroom with all the antlers on the bed. Well,
But
little different.
yeah, it's about right. Apart from me, it was his boyhood bedroom, but then he continued to use it as his room for the rest of his life. He didn't sleep in there, obviously, but it was like his day room, his room. He put the things that were of interest to him. It was the room that he could shut the door and his kids couldn't come in and pester.
It's basically a personal man cave kind
It
of
was,
thing.
yeah, and that's what it was. And everything that was precious to him was kept in here. You know, from his collection of walking sticks, his shells, the picture of his father and his grandfather on the wall. There's 2 certificates, there is certificates of attainment once he reached the age of 21. So anything that was special to him is in this room. And even if it's not of value, it would be in the cabinets because it was of value to him. There's like a little felt bat that his daughter made and it says from Hilda to Papa. So, you know, that was something that he wanted to save and that's there in one of the cabinets.
That's sweet at the time, if you think about it.
But this is one of the rooms that was in such bad condition when the trust took it on because of the damage to the roof that they had to peel all the wallpaper off, dry out all the damp and then put all the wallpaper back on. It's like the ceiling as well, it's not going to fall down on you, it's got metal rods through it to hold it so that it stays up and secure like it is.
They've seen a fair few of the ones that were taken on by the trust that did that. So sort of, you know, just recovering from the disrepair. So it's good they managed to get to it. So
it is.
So is this the original wallpaper that's put back on?
Original, oh yeah, it's all original, yeah. In this house you'll find there's nothing been brought in and nothing taken out. It's not like a lot of the trust houses have to bring things in and say, this is what it would have been like. This house, what you see is what was there. This is the real thing, so to speak. Where you're walking around, it's where the family was. Like in the saloon, there's a picture on the piano of that room in 1836 and it looks exactly like it does today.
Brilliant.
So
no, it's good they did that. I like a lot of the old house when they keep some of the original feeling behind it.
Well, they've kept it all in this one. Yeah, everything is as it was. It's that light one that stood still and every room that they've basically, apart from making it so that you can walk in it, what you see is what was there.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. you have any idea how many taxidermy birds there are in the building?
No.
I was wondering if there's been a census.
We don't. Well, it doesn't go on the bird, it goes on the cases usually. But let me think. In 1870, there were something like 400 cases in the house, and there were a lot more than that. Now, it's a fact that there used to be twice the amount that you see now in 1924, but half of them were sold off.
Okay, it's just to raise funds and
pay death duties. Yeah. That's when the house went into serious decline. Yes, there's a lot simply because the last baronet was obsessive about collecting them. His father had been a collector and was a naturalist. He was Cambridge educated and quite a clever chap, so he was taking it seriously. The last baronet, Vauncey, spent his entire life sort of following in his father's footsteps, which meant that he went through the motions, but he didn't do the hard work, so he just collected.
He didn't have the passion for it as such. He
had a passion for collecting, but not for the finer details of what things were.
Okay, yeah.
See what I mean? So he accumulated a huge amount of cases, and every room in the house was stuffed with it, pardon the pun. Yeah.
I was going to say, the two motifs I'm getting throughout the house are horses and birds.
Yes.
Obviously, horses for
the thing was
moving, I guess.
The horse breeding was something that went on in the 18th century, and racehorses especially. They were quite famous. In fact, the Calke bloodline is still around today. You know, the racing colours were only actually surrendered, I think, in 1997.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that was when the last member of the family died.
I saw the thing down in the stables, which was from Squirt, was it?
Squirt, yeah, that's it. That was the story goes that the 6th baronet, as a child, saved that horse from, it was going to the dogs basically, it was knackered, it was, you know, to use all the correct terms.
Yep.
And he wanted it, so they saved it, and it turned into a very good stud animal. So descendants of Squirt are still around today.
Well, that's it. You see some of the famous names in the little path of like. Okay,
yes.
I mean, I don't follow the horse racing that much, but even
you can trace it.
Know them.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, that was the 18th century, and then moving on, say, to the mid 19th century, when this collection was started by Sir John. He was an avid cattle breeder. Now you see all those longhorns
on the way through, yep, in the fields. In
the fields, yeah. They aren't the same herd, but they are the same breed, English longhorns, as the cattle heads in the hall, the entrance hall as you come in. Yeah. So he bred longhorns and Portland sheep. So we still have the Portland sheep here. Not the ones you saw as you came in, but as you go out you might see them.
Oh.
They're sort of quite small, they've got horns and they're kind of beige rather than white or grey. So yeah, that's what he was interested in, cattle breeding. But then you get to Vauncey, the last baronet, and he was passionate about shooting and just collecting anything, you know. Things that his father collected, but he collected as well on a grand scale, and that's why we have so much of it.
Well, it's, like I say, it's a shame that we've lost half of it, but the stuff you have retained is fascinating.
It is.
It's very impressive.
Well, you've got to bear in mind that the people doing the taxidermy, some of it, at any rate, was done by the same taxidermist that worked for the royal family.
Oh.
So, you know, as an art form, it's as good as it gets.
You see some of the ones online where it's the sort of slightly dodgy ones, but then you see these, and these are obviously all fantastic. I don't think I've seen a rough-looking one amongst them.
No, but I mean, when you say in saloon downstairs, you know, all the stags' heads around the walls and so on. I mean, it has been remarked on that some of them look more like dogs than they do like deer. And then you point out, well, taxidermy as an art form, if you like, has only been around for a couple of 100 years or so. So they were practising, so, you know, they didn't get it right in all cases.
Yeah.
And some of those heads are that old. See, so, yeah, in the end, and they sort of them look like they've got big smiling faces as well. You know.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is an interesting art form.
It's very good.
Yeah. I mean, that canary used to be a pet belonging to one of the governesses here. It was called BB. So obviously it died, and they
Put it together.
preserved it for her when it stayed here.
I must admit, I'm okay with taxidermy as an art form. I do feel a bit weird if I was stuffing an old pet. Just
Well,
feels a little bit odd for myself.
I mean, you know, you have to sort of lighten the mood a bit sometimes, because some people are actually disturbed by it. You know, genuinely disturbed.
I mean, there's certain elements of it, especially when you go to the ones with the heads all going down. It could imagine it being quite oppressive. You know, if you're with the boyhood room over there, and it's like, well, if I was a boy growing up in this room, like it is there.
No,
I know they've changed what it's like now.
You have to point out that it didn't look like that when he was a child. He hadn't shot them yet.
That's
that
what
happened when he grew up.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, you know, people say, well, if this is a bird lobby, what's that cat doing up there?
The way that they feed, it means that they can start getting the land back to how it was. Yeah. And obviously the wildlife. I'm not sure if it's last year or the year before, they released all the hazel, dormice and hazel mice. They've all been introduced back into the land here, and we've got otters that are coming onto the land.
So you're saving lots of otters in cases.
Oh, I know.
We've not seen otters over a mile yet, have we? That's one thing I've just
No, well apparently last year one of the volunteers saw one, so they were thrilled to see them, because they thought if they've seen one, chances are it's going to be another one. Yeah.
I've got on the web at the moment, 7 acre lake, and he's had to put fence amongst otters, even though he's not seen himself, he's seen the cow. Because the otters will grab a fish, drag it out, eat part of it, and then it's going to be late before they run.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you next week.